Next game is the Titans and the Panthers. This is the game that got everyone fired on the offensive side of the ball for the Panthers. Titans won this one 17-10. Bryce Young 18-31 for 194 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had 3 carries for 23 yards. It's going to be interesting to see if all these coaches leaving, Frank Reich leaving, he was the offensive play caller, his quarterback coach is gone. If that starts to spark him, similar to how Kenny Pickett got sparked this week with Matt Canada leaving, that's a possibility. I just wouldn't bank on that just yet. Bryce Young was my number 1 player in the draft this year. There's absolutely ability there. Long term, I love Bryce Young. Just kind of hesitant to say that it's going to happen whatsoever this year, even in a good matchup, because of how poorly he's played up to this point and just the lack of weapons that he has in general. Chuba Hubbard, 14 carries for 45 yards and a rushing touchdown. He also had 5 catches for 47 yards. The clear most productive back here, Miles Sanders, 15 carries, 28 yards. He had more carries in this one. Just didn't get the passing game worth that Chuba Hubbard did. Didn't haul in his only target, but he had 1 more carry. I kind of predict that Chuba Hubbard will get, or I do predict that Chuba Hubbard will get more carries in this next game just because he was a lot more efficient than Sanders was with his touches. Jonathan Mingo, 4 catches, 60 yards on 6 targets. He had the weirdest play. Like, Bryce Young was rolling to his right, and rather than trying to toe tap his feet in bounds, Mingo did the opposite and did all he could to keep his feet. You'd have to watch the clip to know what I'm talking about. It was just really weird, and it's interesting that he was the leading receiver in this one even after that play. I just wouldn't go adding Mingo quite yet, but with this new offensive staff that's coming in, or not so much new, but just this refreshed offensive staff with the old guys that they had already there, it's going to be interesting to see if Mingo's featured more because there was a lot of love for him coming out of camp this year. So keep an eye on Mingo. Add him if you have the space, but not someone you want to put a priority on adding whatsoever. DJ Chark, 3 catches, 34 yards on 4 targets. Amir Smith-Marset had a catch for 14. Steven Sullivan had a catch for 13. Ian Thomas had a catch for 9. Not really a clear tight end here that you want to add. Tommy Tremble with a catch for 7 as well. No Hayden Hurst in this one, so just stay away from Panthers tight ends. Laviska Shenault had a catch for 8. Adam Thielen, just the 1 catch for 2 yards on 3 targets. He's fallen off pretty heavily. Not someone you want to start every single week like he was earlier in the season. But in a good matchup, you could do a lot worse. I wouldn't be too down on him based off of this performance. And Miles Sanders didn't haul in his only target. For the Titans, Will Levis was 18-28, 185 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He also had 3 carries for -3 yards. I think he's a pretty safe drop at this point. You could do better at quarterback than Will Levis. Derrick Henry, 18 carries, 76 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Great to see him get back involved. Just the 1 catch for 0 yards on 2 targets, but still play Derrick Henry every single week. He's Derrick Henry. You got to do it. Tyjae Spears, he's going to be a top 10 tight end, or a top 10 running back. If anything were to happen to Derrick Henry, in this one, just the 1 catch for 1 yards on 3 targets, 2 carries for 6 yards. I wouldn't go adding him unless you had Derrick Henry. Chris Moore, just the 1 carry for 1 yard, and Will Levis had the 3 carries for -3. DeAndre Hopkins was the leading receiver, 3 catches for 49 yards and 5 targets. Disappointing fantasy day, though. I wouldn't go playing him unless you had a good matchup. Still, at the same time, he has a lot of upside because Will Levis can just lock onto him. He's confirmed, solidified himself as the number 1 receiver in this offense. It's just he has a low floor and a high ceiling, so it's going to be super up and down. Chig Okonkwo had 4 catches for 45 yards on 5 targets. This is the high end of what he does. I don't think you want to add Okonkwo anywhere. Chris Moore had the 3 catches for 41 yards. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine had 4 catches for 41. Josh Wiley, the rookie tight end from Cincinnati, had a catch for 11. Tyjae Spears had a catch for 1. And Kyle Phillips just had the 1 catch for -3. He is a safe drop.